Not bad. Not bad.
Mitch, congratulations on your win.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
How was your mindset going into the cage?
Honestly, it's more just I was nervous going into the fight because I knew the kid was a talented prospect, but at the end of the day, I mean, he won more amateur belts than I did. So at the end of the day, I mean, he won up me, but he still was 2-0 at the end of the day. And I knew if you have a close fight with a kid like that, or even, God forbid, lose to a kid like that in my position, one, his career is made. Like, not made. I'm not Conor McGregor, but one win. He's probably one win away from getting a shot to the UFC after beating me. Like I understood why he took the fight, and I said that. So I was nervous going in, and he had some antics in the back, blowing kisses at me and shit, and called me a pretty boy, like literally an hour before the fight. And I told him, I smiled at him. I was like, we'll see, bro. We'll see. And like I said, when we went in there, I said the same thing to him. I'm a different level. I sacrifice too much for this shit. And people, that's what happens. Yeah.
What made you take this fight?
I needed a fight. So I was in Vegas. I was training hard, and I honestly thought I was going to be on like a contender series. I thought like that's what we were looking at. I was like, all right. That's why I didn't fight on the looking for a fight show in Boston. Like so many people asked me, like, why aren't you fighting on that? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like we're good. Like we're in a good spot. And then in the find out they were full. And let's be real, I can't be entitled to shit. I lost twice in a row. Not a lot of guys get on the Ultimate Fighter. I failed, and then I get a contender series shot, and I dropped the ball. It's that simple. So I can't bitch and complain and moan. Sorry for my language. But so I was like, all right, I need another fight. I told Tyson, hey, I'm coming home. Get me a fight. I was going to defend my belt at a different promotion. It didn't happen. I was like, all right. So Pulver, dude, I started with Michael Pulver. I won his amateur belt. I started my pro career here. The dude, he's an amazing, amazing promoter. Like such a good guy. So I was honored to come back here. He got me a fight against one of his top prospects. And I am not scared to put it all on the line. I am a fighter's fighter. Like I want people to realize that. I sacrificed too much for this shit. And I was like, all right, let's do it. I knew I had nothing really to gain from this. I mean, I feel like I did gain because I treated him how I should have treated him. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. So
Mitch, what makes you a different fighter now from the fighter that we knew every day when you were fighting for this promotion?
I'm just real. I'm sure of myself. I put myself in uncomfortable positions daily. I put myself in positions where I'm supposed to lose in the room every day. I train like a professional. I have a different type of mentality. And when I'm in there now, when I'm in there, I'm not really thinking of anything. I'm like, all right, I rep this shit like a professional. Thousands and thousands of reps. Like I do my warm up. I do my post work. I do my cool downs. I treat this shit like a world champion. And so when I'm in there, I'm just a lot more sure of myself. And that's why you're seeing knockouts. That's the first thing my coach says. Like, if that was you as an amateur, you probably would have like gotten his guard or some shit. Like, and like I would have fucking played it safe. Like I wanted to kill him. I'm kill or be killed type of mentality. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Honestly, walking into this place, I walked in. I saw I was kind of ready. Like the crowd was kind of filling up, and I was like, it just felt. I was like, wow, like I'm back, And it's not like I'm back in a bad way. Like, yeah, I was at the UFC. I failed, and I'm back. But more like as a kind of like a homecoming, And I wanted to show people a different version of myself. I'll tell you something right now. Anybody that remembers how I fought, as an amateur and a pro, that's not the same kid. I'll tell you something right now. That is not the same kid. And I honestly said Tyler Smythe honestly had some shades similar to how I fought as an amateur, And I even told him the kid, I was like, you're a talented kid, man. But it's just not, I knew it's my time right now. It's my time. I'm not spending fucking 6 weeks in Vegas away from my family, my friends for nothing, and no one's taking the shit from me. And that's the type of mentality I came in with. But I was nervous in the day, but I know I was coming to win, and that's it. It's the only thing on my mind. Nah, man. It's UFC. It's not UFC or bust, but it's UFC. I have a mentality, and maybe I'm not ahead of the game, but you go to those other promotions, in my opinion, when you don't really come to terms with the UFC, because those other promotions are going to pay you the big bucks. but you need to get to the UFC. The UFC it's the NFL, it's the NBA. It is what it is. Like there's some shit that we want to change about the sport, and I'm sure it will happen. Like you think about the sport 10 years ago, and you got guys like, there's stories of Kenny Florian fighting BJ Penn for X amount of money, and compared to the guys who fight for the belt now make 3-4 times more than that. The sport is going to get there. So, people bitch and complain about the UFC, but at the end of the day, they are the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts. So no, it's the UFC for me. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm heading. That's what I want. Appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you. Yeah, I knew if he struck with me that it wasn't going to go well for him. But I did, I know he was watching the Ultimate Fighter fight and that Jake Hadley fight. And there's some shit about the Jake Hadley fight that I won't come out and say until me and him fight again and I beat him, and then I'll talk about it. But I took that fight. I should not have took that fight. And I still was whooping that ass. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's the truth. I was out striking him like 3-1 after the first round. Easy round. I lost focus is what it is. I had some shit going into it. But I think he was watching those fights and praying that I was that same kid. I'll tell you right, if you would have gotten that fence, I'm a different guy. You're not holding me against that fence. You ain't holding me down. I'm going to get up. And my mentality coming into the fight, I told my family, I told my friends, I told my coaches, I don't care what he puts me against the cage, any of that. When we separate, he's going to feel it. And he's going to see. Right after I hit him the first shot, he had this cocky, smug look on his face. I hit him with one shot. His whole face changed. And I was like, all right, just one more. Bink. See you later. It's just straight up. It's what it is. I grew up in this shit. I remember being a little kid watching fights in slow motion because I thought it helped me. Looking back, I was kind of an idiot, but seriously, that's how psycho I am about this shit. This is what I do. I'll sacrifice anything. I will live in a box to do this shit. I can't imagine myself doing anything else, So when I failed at the higher level, I was like, I was dead set on doing anything I need to do to become the fighter that was going to be successful in the UFC and will be successful in the UFC. Yeah, can't, I'm not gonna put him on the spot, but I'm sure Mick Maynard is gonna see that, and at the end of the day, I was on the Contender Series, things like that, so I understand why they're gonna put other guys ahead. If it's that full, it's like, all right, this kid already had a shot. I get it, so I got to be more patient for a short notice opportunity. But I'm already hearing some guys that are on the UFC Boston card are flyweights. There's 2 flyweight fights already on it. I'll fight at bantamweight too. I really against a guy that's one fight in the UFC, whatever. I'll move up too. I cut a lot of weight for flyweight. I walked into the cage pretty close to close to 150 pounds. I'm not a little flyweight. So at the end of the day, I'll be ready for UFC Boston. I'll be ready for anything. They're starting to travel more now, so I feel like it could happen on any card. But man, the Garden, fuck, that would be insane. It would be insane. What's something that everyone should know about Mitch Raposo? I was born to do this shit. And I want to keep proving people wrong, why I was born to do this shit. And at the end of the day, I can't see myself ever doing anything else. And I want people to see that in my performances. I want to inspire people in a way that this kid really just. I came up as a kid. I remember being teachers telling me, backup plan and this and that. I want to inspire people and really show people wow, this kid really is just like anyone else. And I come up and I just have a vision and nothing's fucking straying me away from that. It's the bottom line. Congratulations. Thank you, brother. Right now, you're one of the top guys in the area, probably one of the bigger things now. And just want to ask, what was the first martial arts you actually went into? MMA. Swear to God. I was 12 years old, straight MMA. I went into Gillette's Mixed Martial Arts down in Fall River, Mass. And, I started with MMA. I wrestled in high school literally just to be more well-rounded. I was supposed to wrestle. I was going to wrestle in college. I was going to go to Edinburgh, Sacred Heart. I think it was Kent State. But then I tore my shoulder my junior year. And to be honest with you, I just wanted to fight anyway. So that's why when I turned 18, I just started fighting. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Let's go.